Today is September 11th, 2019. I live in India, where I volunteer doing reforestation and water conservation work. It feels good to be part of a solution and play a positive, sustainable, regenerative role in the world. I genuinely believe I am doing something to make a difference. For ethical reasons, I have been vegan since around 2004. I now understand the health and climate reasons as well, but ethics remain my absolute anchor. Nevertheless, being here and working with others and seeing nature rebound from human-caused devastation is heartwarming. Suffice it to say, I have not always cared. There was a time when I was completely lost, focused on pleasure and material wealth, poisoning myself with bad music, bad movies, bad politics, bad relationships, and substance abuse. This list is extensive. I grew up in a neighborhood and community where these things were the norm. Beyond that, they were glamorized and sensationalized. Gangs, drugs, guns, sex, money, and the perception of power. For someone who feels powerless, these things can be quite alluring. In the midst of the chaos, I couldn't see it for what it was. Within the context of my environment, I genuinely thought I was still a good person, which I will not go into much here, but I will say I would not see the depths of my hypocrisy and ignorance. Nevertheless, this is not intended to be about me or the unlikely leap from abject failure to becoming vegan and living and volunteering abroad. Over the past year or so, our community has hosted a wide variety of individuals coming to volunteer their time. We currently have a team of climate scientists researching carbon sequestration, amongst other things. We have had several such teams. I imagine this recently reforested land gives them special insight into the various biological, chemical, and physical processes taking place here within a measurable time frame. Carbon sequestration secures carbon dioxide to prevent it from entering Earth's atmosphere. It is one method nature uses to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, so it makes sense that scientists would aim to understand and replicate this outcome to further reduce the effects of natural and anthropogenic climate change. After many conversations, I have come to the surprising conclusion that nearly every climate scientist is a doomsdayer. For a variety of reasons, most are hesitant to discuss their findings. But I do genuinely want to understand what is so alarming regarding the climate change we all hear about. Yes, I had heard of the Anthropocene, also known as the Holocene, the sixth mass extinction we are currently said to be in the midst of. Of course, mass extinction is a dead giveaway, pun intended, that it is nothing good. But what does that really mean? Overall, this Holocene extinction can be linked to the human impact on the environment. Human population growth, increasing per capita consumption, and meat production being the primary drivers of the mass extinction, and deforestation, overfishing, ocean acidification, the destruction of wetlands, and the decline in amphibian populations being a few broader examples of global biodiversity loss. But again, what does this mean? How much loss are we talking about? When and how will it affect so-called normal life? As a vegan, I am familiar with following global estimates. 3 trillion animals are killed by humans annually for varied consumption. That is 2.7 trillion animals pulled from the ocean and 300 billion animals from the land. These estimates vary, but are extreme by any count. These numbers aside, a mass extinction is characterized by the loss of at least 75% of species within a geologically short period of time. Some estimates suggest the current extinction rate may be anywhere from 100 to 10,000 times the background extinction rate. Conservative estimates suggest 1/2 of Earth's higher life forms will be extinct by 2100. Yet, new research and a growing body of data seems to suggest a much earlier date. Since I do not have permission, I will not use real names here. Dr. John, our resident professor of climate science, suggests that we are far beyond the tipping point. In fact, he believes that all life on Earth will likely cease in the very near future. My response was, wait, what? That is not possible. I'm both open and skeptical of everything, but this, I get it, all things have natural cycles, and humans have pumped poisons into every nook and cranny with nearly 8 billion of us. We seek and destroy nearly everything in our path. Got it. I can be as cynical as the next misanthrope. But still, all life on Earth in the near future? Of course, the next logical question is, when? Precisely when? Dr. John must have seen this response countless times. How do you gently tell someone that all life on Earth will cease, very likely during their lifetime? How does a government tell the people? Should they? Should I? Do I even believe it? Can't I just be plugged back into the Matrix, blissfully ignorant? All right, that's too far, maybe not that. But 3 years have passed since I had this experience, and 4 countries later, due to border closures, a global pandemic, socio-political chaos, I am a believer. Yet I have not shared this until now. I'm doing so because I believe it is important for people to know, to have an opportunity to be kinder and more mindful, to have the opportunity to evolve and change as I have had the opportunity to do. I saw a meme recently, and it summarizes it nicely. What if it's a big hoax and we create a better world for nothing? That's what the meme said, and I can't find better words to summarize what I'm trying to say here. Previously, I was of the belief that this information would only cause chaos and harm. Perhaps it will, but the world is already in chaos, and the harm is prevalent. Knowing that all life on Earth will likely be gone by 2030 can allow for planetary hospice, as Dr. Guy McPherson, Professor Emeritus of Natural Resources and Ecology and Evolutionary Biology, says. Further, nobody knows the date. It is a cascade, a series of dominoes which are already falling one by one. Me, being the person I am, believes that anything is possible, which is not to be confused with blind hope. I have seen and experienced firsthand the miraculous, and I believe that it is never too late to be a kind and loving person. What happens to the earth is beyond the control of any one of us. The best we can do is to treat every sentient being as we wish to be treated. Treat every person as yourself or a loved family member. Love to your heart's capacity. Eliminate your hypocrisies. Embrace the mystery of the divine nature of our being, of this existence. Whether or not all life ends today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now, it is tomorrow that is not guaranteed. A tired cliche that proves itself valuable once again. I have finally shed the idea that humans are somehow inherently separate from nature, separated by any number of ideas and philosophical or religious beliefs. I see that if we choose to, we can live in mindful harmony. From today, do not worry whether or not your neighbor will embrace these ideas. We must each choose to embrace them on our own and love without expectation. Whether we have a single breath remaining in our lungs or a ripe old age to look forward to, nature calls upon us to change our ways. And if you are still here, it is not too late. I am evolving, and so can you.